Juchitán, Mexico, a city on the isthmus with many faces. On the one hand, small town squares like this one, where local Zapotec women come down from the hills and sell their flowers and their vegetables. On the other, a small city all around you that has all of the trappings of a modern metropolis. Vámonos, amigo. I've come to this place in search of one of the most unusual indigenous dishes, something I've never tried before, armadillo. And it's become pretty apparent that even though it's a celebrated food here, fresh armadillo is not always easy to find. They're tough to hunt and expensive to buy. So I've enlisted the help of my friend, Susanna Trilling. As a chef and owner of a nearby cooking school, Susanna knows just what to do. Call in a couple of savvy locals, Florinda and Severiana. Everyone's got a friend of a friend of a friend who's got one, but we're in a back alley barrio here, desperate for just one armadillo. Armadillo is a special dish here, and not something people eat every day. If you don't get to the market right away in the morning, you've got to seek out the suppliers all on your own. Apparently, Florinda and her friend know where we can find an armadillo. Being a small town, word has gotten around that an armadillo is being prepped for some gringo to eat. This is taking a little longer than I thought it would. It's not so easy. There's so much intramuscular and intermuscular fat, as well as a prehistoric design to this animal that makes butchering it a nearly impossible task. That, of course, and the fact that their knives that they're using are about as sharp as dessert spoons. The next step in the process is for Severiana to put together a mixture of local seasonings for a marinade.
So all this is going to be marinated in the guajillo, the garlic, achiote, lime, salt, and then it goes back into its natural shell. Then we're going to take it over to Florinda's house and bake it in her oven because she's got a really cool house.
This basically is like an armadillo progressive dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Florinda, there's your armadillo. Zapotec recipes once called for roasting armadillo in a traditional wood oven, but that took a full day. So Florinda is going for the more modern option.
No, stop here. I'll see another one. Okay, Andrew. Do you want the front leg? I think that looks good for you.
Fabulous. I have to tell you, the tail sitting there in the pot with the head makes the experience all the more interesting, to say the least.
Well, it just reminds me of what you're eating, no?
Add a little of the lime and chili sauce, and we're ready to dive in. Here goes my first taste of armadillo. That is unusual, to say the least. It's extremely lean. It's extremely light. It's much different than what I thought it would taste like. It's almost like rabbit. But there's a wonderful, well, sort of mild gaminess in there that's very unique. Once cooked, the armadillo smells pretty musty and fairly earthy, like a rodent and a reptile combined. Yet the taste is surprisingly on the mild side.
It's interesting, it doesn't taste like what it smells like.
Oh, not at all.
Did you get that?
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I thought actually that there would be a stronger, with all that fat in there, I thought it would be a little goofier tasting than it actually is. You don't expect it to be that lean and delicate and that refined. And the sauce is incredible.
The sauce is really good.
Juchitán is one of the few places left in the world where you can eat fresh armadillo in its own terroir. The added bonus is that it was cooked by native Zapoteca women using traditional recipes. Now that's authentic. Tajine, a meat stew of sorts, is one national dish of Morocco. Couscous is the other. I've been invited to enjoy a combination of both with a family who lives in the Eureka Valley, a beautiful 1-hour drive outside of Marrakesh. The Moroccans are a very hospitable people, and there's no greater honor than to be invited into a home to share a traditional family meal. Ah, bonjour, bonjour. Preparations are in full swing when I arrive, so I hightail it into the kitchen. My host, Saida, has an amazing feast planned. Here you can see the tagine with some oil and mixed spices getting ready For the lunch that we've been invited to share, she's washing the meat, which is extremely fresh to begin with. This is just fabulous. It's better than being in a 4-star kitchen in Paris, I can tell you that.
Food fresh from the source, now that's fine dining. And watching a pro at work is priceless.
Oh, nice. Look at that. She's been around a few kitchens in her day. I feel like I'm in very good hands with Saida.
This house, like those you see throughout Morocco, is made from mud and straw bricks dried in the sun, keeping it cool inside, even though the temperature outside is soaring well over 100 degrees.
The lifestyle here has remained unchanged for 1,000 years. No electricity, no indoor plumbing, and cooking implements that are as traditional as they get. When you need to crank up the heat a little bit, she uses that really small bellows. Look at that. The pan is a little tilted, so Saida grabs her trusty hot rock out of the burning coals and wedges it against the side of the pan to keep it even while it's over the fire. I can't believe I just saw that. Now, the couscous that we're eating is made by taking this grain and mixing it with water and actually rolling it in their hands.
Preparing this dish is a long process, usually taking about 3 to 4 hours. It's well worth the wait.
She's got a little bit of butter in there. That's the smen, the cultured butter that's made with curdled cream. Gives a unique, slightly tart dairy flavor and also keeps all those grains from clumping together. Look at that.
Saida's husband has been called away unexpectedly, and Moroccan custom does not allow her to sit down and join me for lunch. Sadly, I have to eat alone, or almost, but my disappointment is quickly forgotten.
This smells very, very aromatic. The overwhelming perfume there is of the saffron and of the vegetables. There's an unmistakable sweetness coming off of there. And I will say, if you've ever seen kids making sand balls at the seaside, then you'll know how to make lugma, which is the traditional way of rolling couscous. You just toss it in your hands, and then you use your thumb. Try some goat. Now, goat meat is absolutely delicious, and it's almost a barnyard sort of quality that it has from all of the feed that these animals consume. It's not so much that you can taste the hay and straw in the flesh itself, but if you close your eyes, I think you can. Hi. There you go. It's very important to befriend the family cat wherever you are. There you go.
It's been a wonderful afternoon. I've watched a pro at work, and as Saida prepares for her husband's return, I thank her in the universal language shared by chefs and grateful diners the world over.
Fabulous.
The largest ethnic group in the Los Angeles area is the Hispanic community, representing more than 45% of the city's population. Born out of a Spanish mission history, Los Angeles was founded in 1781 by a group of Spanish settlers known as pobladores. Today, the old Plaza Church and Olvera Street still stand at the heart of this community. Every year, Olvera Street plays host to a myriad of fiestas and events, like this Cinco de Mayo celebration. Street food is always appealing, but to get the true taste of a culture, you've got to start at home. Javier Cabral and his family have invited me over for a traditional Mexican meal. At age 19, Javier is one of the youngest rising talents in the LA food blogging scene, simultaneously making a name for himself in both the English and Hispanic communities from his home in East LA. Hello! Tradition is very important to the Cabral family, and Javier's mother, Maria Rosa, and sister Susie are preparing family recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation.
Hi, welcome, Andrew.
Wow. Who is this for? This can't be for me. This is amazing.
This is for all of us.
The kitchen is filled with aromas reminiscent of Zacatecas, Mexico, Maria Rosa's hometown. Lunch is going to be spectacular. Menudo or tripe, sautéed huitlacoche, also called corn smut, a marinated nopales salad made from dethorned cactus paddles, and one of my favorites, grasshoppers.
Chapulines.
You got it. Already dried up and everything.
Go.
Best way to eat them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. The last time I had chapulines that good was in Oaxaca.
Yep, these are freshly imported from Oaxaca. So
You can taste the lime and the salt.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my God.
The homemade menudo has been simmering on the stove overnight. Made from the internal organs of a cow and full of Mexican spices, this dish smells really good.
Well, you know, it's so good because a lot of people look at something like this and they go, my gosh, how do you deal with it from a food standpoint?
Yeah.
I mean, where do you start? And with these, if you just throw them in a pot and cook it for long enough, the magic happens.
Much of today's Mexican cuisine is based on ancient Aztec and Mayan foods, corn-based dishes with chilies and tomatoes. Spanish conquistadors later introduced rice, onion, and meats into the mix, which have become dietary staples.
I'll tell you, if I stay in this kitchen for another 3 seconds, I'm literally going to start eating everything in sight.
This Sunday family meal at the Cabrals is a true hands-on affair, with everything made from scratch, like these blue corn tortillas.
All right.
there it is. You got it. You got it, Andrew.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
All those years of.
All right.
Evidently, I could use a lesson in when to remove the tortilla from the grill.
I just got yelled at.
Mire, ya se está esponjando lo que le faltaba de crudito. Ahora ya la puede voltear. Ya la puede voltear. Ya la puede voltear.
Now.
It's like a natural indicator. If it's too ready.
Thank you.
The tortillas are ready, and the table is set. Time to eat.
Okay, and give me a piece of
Esa
heart.
parte del corazón.
Thank you very much.
¿Cuál falta, mijo?
On the advice of Javier's dad, Rogelio, I add a generous helping of fresh oregano, onion, cilantro, and lemon into the menudo.
How is it? Good? Yeah.
You have to really like be mindful of the food that you eat. You know? Anticipate it. Savor it. You know, and in that way, food is much more than sustenance. It's like an experience.
I'm a huge fan of the main course, menudo, a stew made from organ meats, cow's hoofs, and plenty of spices.
This is absolutely extraordinary. I've never tasted menudo so good. It's so fresh. Everything is so melt in your mouth. The flavors are so clean. And the problem with this dish is that if you don't take your time with it, and if you don't have experience cooking it, it comes out tasting like the inside of an animal, as opposed to the, you know, what it would taste like licking the floor in heaven. I mean, this is just amazing. The great thing about this menudo, too, is that you have all the different parts of the stomach, and then you've got that cow hoof, big and fatty, and the heart that's so lean.
The huitlacoche, or corn smut, is a fungus much like a mushroom, which feeds off the corn plant and destroys the kernels.
Are you a big corn smut guy? Yeah, I love it too. Very funky, very good.
It tastes musty, slightly smoky, and it's enhanced by the garlic and chilies that are used to flavor many Mexican dishes.
And the hominy or the corn, it almost gets like a like a pasta like al dente chewy texture, right?
Oh, it's nutty, and then you bite into it, you get that burst of corn flavor.
The nopales are the pads of the prickly pear cactus, dethorned and marinated in lime juice with onions, tomatoes, chili peppers, and cilantro.
It's like a cross between a green bean and an asparagus.
Yes, but slimier.
No matter what culture you're in, eating traditional foods prepared the way they've been for centuries makes for a momentous meal.
Next time, I'm bringing about 150 Zimmerns, you know, and we'll do a whole thing. We'll set up German Jewish food on one side of the lawn and Mexican lunch on the other side. Anyway, thank you. This has just been
Thank you.
extraordinary.
Everyone's welcome.
Chengdu, the sprawling provincial capital of Sichuan, China, has a population of 12 million and growing. Most Chengduese live in high-rise apartments. And there's an emerging upper middle class in China, so communities like these are springing up all over. I'm in the Wuhou district west of the center city, guest of martial arts master Tiger Chen and his mother at their family home. Tiger's mom wants to make sure I get a proper home-cooked Chinese meal. I've been waiting 49 years for this.
Hello, Andrew. Nice to meet you.
The house is modern, but it's full of age-old Chinese traditions of hospitality. The kitchen is in a room out back, separate from the house. Mrs. Chen and her housekeeper have been cooking all morning.
You weren't kidding around when you said your mom takes this very, very seriously.
Everything is made from scratch, even the sausage. She buys fresh fatty pork, cut from the pig's armpit, grinds it by hand, and mixes it with a few key ingredients.
Hot chilies, wine, salt, pepper, sugar. God, look at how beautiful that is.
They use a simple homemade device to hold open the pig intestine casing and impressive chopsticks dexterity.
It's amazing how much a casing holds.
The links are hung up to dry for 15 days. This is when Tiger's longtime friend Dogger really comes in handy.
That's why you don't need to get the step stool.
Mrs. Chen is the original Tiger mom, teaching her son and his buddies to appreciate the best of Sichuan cuisine here at home.
Oh my God. How many dishes is your mom making?
At least a dozen, starting with kung pao chicken, cabbage with shrimp, sweet rice with pork belly, minced beef with ground rice, smoked bacon with pickled vegetables, whole carp with spicy black bean sauce.
Wow. That looks killer.
It's her version of the 9 bowls we ate in Ancient Town. Each cook has their own take on this classic meal, and hers is over-the-top incredible.
Dig in, don't be shy. I'm worried about you because you're working out a lot these days and you're shrinking and you need to build up your strength.
Yeah, dashing.
Yeah.
The mapo tofu is one of my favorites, a popular Sichuan dish of tofu, swimming in a bright red chili oil suspension, redolent with fermented chili bean paste.
Try the mapo.
Double whammy, hot chili oil, pungent, deep, numbing Sichuan peppercorns, but it's the right amount of salt. That's crazy. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Mrs. Chen used to be a Chinese opera singer, and she spent a lifetime cooking for her cast and her family, making protein-rich foods for her kung fu fighters.
These are all some of the most famous items in the Sichuan culinary spectrum, and they are just knockouts.
Then, her homemade sausage.
That's amazing. So few people in America understand how important a role cured ham, bacon, sausage, and the meat arts, how important they are in Chinese cooking. This is insanely good.
This is good.
Spicy,
So
porky,
spicy,
salty,
right?
I love it. Really pretty.
Or, as they say here, very mala. And you cannot tell by looking at them which dishes will be hot. The salad was the spiciest thing I ate all week.
Oh, whoa. My head is ready to explode from one of those chilies in a good way.
With years of practice and perfect technique, Mama Chen has taught all of these guys a passion for great food.
Please let her know this is some of the best cooking I've experienced in a long time. She's a genius.
Boating for lobster is essentially illegal in Cuba, a treat for the privileged few. So Toby and I dock outside the small town of Trinidad for a meal with local fisherman Raul Figueroa Glaze and his family. They live in this home, right by the water. And they raise animals, grow fruits and vegetables, and yes, they do a lot of fishing.
Well, the fish is from the water right over there. The vegetables are all from the garden.
Yeah.
You know, the tamarind is from the trees. The fruit is from the trees.
It's incredible, huh?
Yeah.
All proper fresh food.
Raul's wife Rosa has laid out quite a spread with an array of traditional Cuban dishes, including local crab from the nearby shore.
Oh my God. On the drive over here and you were raving about the crab here. It's outstanding.
See.
Saline, crabby.
Fantastic.
And it's got all that, the mustard and guts kind of all mixed up with it. So it's really strong, which I like.
The family raises goat for food, but they only eat the meat once a month, a rare treat.
Oh my God, that goat. It's just whiny and intense.
Delicious, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
It's almost like lamb.
It's delicious, and it just melts in your mouth. And I got 2 beautiful pieces of shank.
Oh,
My
great.
fave. Yeah, I know. Don't be jealous.
And Rosa has made up a sweet treat to cap off the meal. It's made with tamarind. The pulp tastes sweet and sour, and it's a popular filling for desserts like this one.
So, ¿qué es aquí?
polpetta.
Okay, polpetta is it's like a little donut thing with tamarind, fresh tamarind.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, now he wants one. Now he wants one. That's a Sour Patch Kid. Wow. Wow. That is ridiculously good tasting.
Sharing homegrown and homemade foods with Raul and his family will be a long-lasting memory of my stay in Cuba, a country where the flavor of the food is vibrant, the people are warm, and their hospitality is unforgettable.
Thank you. This was delicious. Absolutely, absolutely glorious, right? Thank you. Boom, give me one of those. Boom, give me one of those. Bam. You're the best. Thank you.